science fair, I did soda can calorimetry. There are a lot of different types of calorimetry, however, I mainly focused on soda can calorimetry. Calorimetry is used to study the heat flow of physical change. The first calometers were introduced in 1761 by Joseph Black. He used heat from guinea pig respiration to try to melt snow. The word calometers come from the word calorie, which I was studying in my science fair. The purpose of my science fair project is to see how much energy is stored in different types of foods and also which types of foods have the most energy and would burn the easiest using calorimetry. What I mean by different types of food is fats, protein, and carbohydrates. In my hypothesis, I stated that I thought that fats were going to burn the easiest and give the most accurate results in calories using the calometer, and I was correct. The procedure of my experiment was simple, but I had to follow a set of rules exactly. If not, the project would have been inaccurate. I had to put the soda can on a stand and put water inside. Then I had to measure the temperature of the water, then burn the food under and have the heat rise under the soda can and change the temperature of the water. Some things that could have affected the outcome of the project was the heat from the burning food didn't always go directly under the can and did not change the temperature as much as it could have been. Overall, the results were accurate. That was my project.
Alright, so for my science fair, I tested the effectiveness of a microplastics extraction method created by an Irish teenager who used magnets to extract microplastics from a beaker of water. I recreated and tested this procedure with 4 different water solutions. First, I extracted microplastics from a beaker of just clean water, and then I extracted the microplastics from a beaker of sand water, and then salt water, and then lastly I extracted the microplastics from a beaker of water with larger plastic pieces mixed in. The reason I did this was because in the real world, on a much bigger scale, there's always going to be sand and salt and plastic debris mixed in with the microplastics. So I ran through the whole procedure and extracted the microplastics, and in conclusion, my procedure was on average 90% effective.
Okay, so for my project I did hydroponics, which is the watering of plants or the growing of plants without soil. For the first project I did just that. I grew plants without soil just using the hydroponic solution, and I compared it to soil. And for my second project I grew plants with both in soil, but I just watered with the hydroponic solution and compared it to water. So as you can see here, watering with the hydroponic solution, it grew much taller, but it wasn't very sturdy, and watering with the water was very sturdy, but it was shorter and took less time, or it took more time. And with the hydroponics here with no soil, it worked, but it wasn't as effective as the soil. So as you can see here, the hydroponics is still very effective, but just not quite as effective as the soil. It's still a great way to grow plants though, because it takes up less space and less resources.
So I wanted to do something that I haven't seen anyone else do before. So I tested the strength of people's hair depending on the amount of how much it has been processed, whether it's been chemically processed, naturally processed, or not processed at all. So I did that by putting pennies on the end of the hair, and then I would weigh it and then convert the weight of pennies into grams. And I found out that the naturally processed hair was the strongest. And this can be because many factors, because people use different shampoos and conditioners at home and stuff, and that could definitely affect my outcome. But it also could be because I naturally processed the hair with lemon, and that has different enzymes that could increase the strength of the hair. In the future, I would try to eliminate some of the factors, like the different textures of hair. Maybe I could try getting it from all one family.
The purpose of my experiment is to find out what dishwashing soaps cleaned oiled feathers the best. So I used 4 different dishwashing soaps: Palmolive, Dr. Bronner's, Dawn, and 7th Generation. And I weighed the feathers when they were clean, when they were put with oil on, and when they were cleaned with the solvents. And so I found my hypothesis was that Dawn would be the most effective, and it was. Dawn and Palmolive worked the best, and Dr. Bronner's worked the least, and it had a bunch of oil still on it after it was cleaned. It also weighed the most. And then 7th Generation cleaned the feathers, but they were very damaged. So that's what I did for my experiment.
So, is your password safe? Okay, so my project was on password safety and password cracking. And How I did this was I basically took some source code from the Science Buddies website and heavily modified it so that it could become a functioning password cracker. And basically, it has a huge list of every English word in the dictionary and 500 common names. And if your password is any of those individually, I can crack it in less than a second. But all you need to do to make it secure is add a single extra word. So I have a graph right here, and a single word, less than a second. But 2 words takes 34 hours at the most. 2 words with the first letter being capital, 138. 2 words with either word being capital, 311. Adding the possibility of both, 512. Adding a single number bumps it up to 5,500 hours. So while it doesn't take much to bring it up to password safety, you still have to be careful not to share your password around. So in conclusion, try to have at least a 2-digit number, maybe a capital, 2 words, and that's all that you really need. But still, practice online safety.